Hello and happy 2021. Um, Welcome to the first meeting of the Texas Quality Matters Consortium for 2021. And I'm excited to kind of touch base with you guys and give you some updates on what we're doing and some things we're thinking about for the future. So I hope everyone is warm today. I know that the snow, we got a little bit of snow, it's melted, but it's still pretty chilly out there. So, but I know it's supposed to be 70 within a couple of days. I hope you were able to enjoy some of the snow. As we start this, as I said, this meeting will be recorded and put on the Digitex YouTube channel, and also we'll send out a notification of that recording to the Google group, to the TxQMC Google group. And also, thanks to Matt from Caption Sync, we have captioning. I appreciate you being here, Matt. All right. So today, I think it's going to be a relatively short meeting. We're going to have a little poll, and we're going to talk about what's new from Quality Matters, the national office, and what's new from TxQMC, and then give you a little bit of information about the Open Texas 21 conference that's coming up in March. And then we'll have some time for questions if you have any questions at that point. So I want to start out by just asking folks to let me know what word or phrase captures your thoughts about the new year. So let's see if I can figure out how to launch this poll that I created. All right. So I have put a few options in here. You can choose as many as you want for a word that captures your thoughts about the new year. If the word that captures your thoughts is not on here, please feel free to write it in the chat. And I would love to hear it. For me, I am hopeful, and maybe that's why I put that on the first one. And, you know, it's exciting this new year, but it's also daunting. We still are facing many of the challenges that we encountered last year, but we have so much experience addressing them that I think we will we'll come at them hopefully with with more vigor. So I'm going to end the polling. Looks like most everyone participated. I'm going to share the results. And this is great. It says, shows me that most of the folks, that everybody's pretty hopeful, even though they're anxious and exhausted. And yes, I feel the person who says they're counting the days until spring break. Absolutely, I understand that feeling as well. So thank you so much. And thank you for joining us today. All right, so I wanted to start out by talking about what is new from QM. So QM, every month they have these success stories, and they're free. They're webinars that present pretty well the different ways that people are using QM at their institutions. And I really appreciate the variety of approaches, and also that it comes from everywhere across the country. So in January, the University of Pittsburgh will be talking about enhancing accessibility of online courses. And then in February, Virtual Arkansas we'll be talking about looking at course design from a student perspective. So anybody who has, anybody at your institution who has a MyQM login, which anybody within your institution can have that, you will be able to register for free for these webinars. And then also they are available at least for 30 or 60 days after the presentation. But I frequently can't actually attend them when they're happening, but I always register for them and watch them when I do have more time. And I find them really useful. And I would encourage you, oh, and each of these webinars have 500 seats. So I've never seen an issue where there haven't been enough seats for people. So I hope you find these useful. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about is this Texas Quality Matters Consortium Advisory Committee that we just started. It's several members of member institutions, representatives from those institutions meeting together to talk about what's going on and what we can do going forward. And establishing this group was really important to me because I think it's important to understand from your perspective, from the stakeholders' perspective, from the folks out there registering faculty and training faculty and reviewing courses. I wanted your input on what is working and what we could do better to serve your needs. So when we met yesterday, we talked about some of the priorities. And one of the most important elements of the Texas Quality Matters Consortium is sharing knowledge between members, because not everybody is implementing completely different, but there's a lot of variety in the ways that different member institutions are implementing QM. Some folks are using a lot of self-reviews. Some folks have established their own internal QM-like training for faculty members. And I think that even though we're doing different things, we're all approaching it in a unique way. But there are commonalities and challenges that we can help each other get through. And also, different institutions are at different places with their QM involvement. Some have been involved from the very beginning and some are new. And I think that both parties can help each other. So one thing that we talked about was possibly, maybe in 2022, having a Texas QMC conference, either virtual or in person. And I know that QM Ohio has conferences specifically for their members, and that this last year they had one that anybody could attend, and I attended it, and I thought it was a great way to showcase the variety of QM involvement and to network. I know they usually have theirs in person, and you can go on the QM Ohio website and you can see a lot of their a lot of the resources from those conferences. And I just think it would be a good resource. And several of the members of the Texas QMC Advisory Committee also thought that this might be a good opportunity for us to network with each other. But then there are several organizations within the state that aren't part of the consortium but that are using QM. And then also the Texas QMC Advisory Committee talked about possibly posting some member information online on our website. So rather than having like a member handbook that is a PDF that's difficult to update, having some information online about how the process works, I think would be useful. But I would really like your feedback right now. I'd really like to know what's working with TxQMC, what could be improved, and of these specific ideas, do any of them stand out to you as something that you would be interested in? And you could either put it in the chat or unmute yourself. So for example, that a conference in the summer, is that something that, not this summer, obviously, maybe next year, and something that wouldn't coincide with other conferences? Is that something people would be interested in?
I'm not sure about a conference. I was going to say this idea of knowledge sharing and talking about how different institutions are using the rubric and doing reviews would be helpful to me.
Okay, reviews and rubric. That's good. Yeah, and I know everyone, that some colleges develop their own mini rubric, sort of, to have faculty address the issues, and others will go through QM and have their courses QM certified. And then there's everything in between. And sometimes it just depends on the capacity of your organization, of your college, and of the instructional designers at your college. Sometimes you are one person, oftentimes it's one instructional designer, and they're serving a large number of faculty. So any other comments about what would be helpful? I know one time I spoke to Alamo, someone at Alamo, and they were suggesting a diagram that showed the different options, where you are within the QM process, and what TxQMC can help you with. So if you have people who are trained, if you have people who need training, just the different options, because there are so many, both through the consortium and then through QM, that it sometimes is, I know I found it confusing when I first started, just to determine what might be the best, the most affordable route, and also the quickest route to getting your needs met. And so I am working on it, but things like that, where there's resources online that demonstrate how we could help. All right. Well, I'm not seeing anybody else saying anything in the chat, but I really would like to encourage you to let us know, let me specifically know, things that are working, and frankly, things that aren't working, and I know that we all exist within our own bureaucracy. We're all, working through the systems that we need to work through. And so sometimes I'll help as much as I can through both the payment process or with QM. Sometimes I'll know who to talk to at QM to help you with either registration or withdrawing from a training or a billing question. So please don't hesitate to contact me if you get something from QM and you just think, what is this? Why did they send this to me? I have no idea what this is for. So thank you. All right. Oh, I see a comment here. Yes. I am going to ask Judith Sebesta, Digitex's executive director, to talk about the Open Texas conference. So Judith, would you Would you share a little bit about the Open Texas Conference, please?
You bet, Ursula. I'd be happy to. Ursula, I do want to take just a moment to say thank you for your leadership of Texas Quality Matters Consortium. And I really also would just like to thank all of you. I'd like to thank Alicia, Andrea, Beatrice, Guadalupe, Jennifer, Natalie, and Veronica, who I think are our participants today, for everything you're doing to support high quality online instruction. So having said that, I think that probably most of you are aware that open educational resources can support high quality online instruction and obviously face-to-face instruction as well. And it is one of our primary initiatives, along with the Texas Quality Matters Consortium and course sharing and research at the Digital Higher Education Consortium of Texas. So we are so pleased to be co-organizing with the Texas Digital Library and the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, Open Texas 2021 Adoption, Engagement, Impact. This will be held virtually March 11th through 12th. Registration should open soon, and we should be making the program available very soon as well. So you'll be able to find information for that on the link that I just put in chat, as well as through our general Digitex Google group, but I imagine Ursula may want to go ahead and send out the registration and program information to the Texas Quality Matters group as well. And for those of you who I think are most in this meeting or who are at Texas Public Community Colleges, we're very pleased that we are going to be able to subsidize a limited number on a first come, first served basis enrollments for those at Texas Public Community Colleges. So again, please stay tuned for how you can go about getting that free registration for some of those at your college who are going to want to attend. So Ursula, I'll turn it back over to you, and maybe you have some other thoughts because you're actually in the trenches on the program committee for the conference and might have a little more specific information, I know. Thanks, Ursula.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Judith. Yeah, and I think that this is a good opportunity if you are new to open educational resources. So open educational resources are resources that are free and openly licensed and available to faculty. Many of them have been peer reviewed. Sometimes it's a full textbook. Sometimes it is an individual module. Sometimes it's a syllabus. There's a lot of resources available. And in Texas, those resources are growing. I have seen presentations at the QM Connect conference that other QM implementers are using OER to address general standard number 4, which is instructional materials, and then general standard 8, accessibility and usability, because accessibility is a huge focus of OER. And at the conference, there are several sessions specifically focused on the accessibility of open educational resources. And so I'm curious, does anyone who's on the webinar now use OER or is familiar with open educational resources? Is there anyone? Oh, great. Andrea says that she uses it for that she's aware of the chemistry and biology. Yes, and OpenStax I know has some great resources in those areas. So that's good to hear. That's good to know. I think that there are ways actually that QM and the QM rubric could really support improving open educational resources. So I really am always trying to connect the two because I think that it's mutually beneficial. OER can help QM courses, and QM courses and the QM rubric could really support some of the work that the OERs are doing. Oh, and Jennifer says that some faculty at HT use OERs, but there is an interest in an all-campus implementation. That is great to hear. And I know that Austin Community College has some fully online degrees, has a couple of degrees where every single course in the degree uses open educational resources. So students do not have to buy textbooks for that entire degree. So that's that's something that we're working on. And as somebody who's seen all the presentations, a description of all the presentations, I think it's really exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of, like I said, information for people who are new to OER, some basic information, but then people who have already started to implement OER and are looking for additional resources. Oh, and Beatrice shared a master list of open educational resources. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will look at that after this meeting. So, all right. Does anybody have anything else to say about open educational resources? Any specific questions about either the conference or open educational resources?
How much is the conference registration fee going to be?
Oh, that's a good question. I know it's going to be, Judith, if you have a specific answer, that would be great.
We're on target for hopefully it to be $85, which is extremely affordable, we hope, for most. But like I said, if you're at a Texas Public Community College, a certain number of registrants at your college will be able to attend for free. But $85 is going to be the general registration. It'll go up after that, after the kind of early bird registration date, I think to 125 maybe.
Yes, I believe that's what we're anticipating. So I will be sure to share the schedule with everyone and the registration link when that's live. And we're working with the outside conference management system that I think will make it a really smooth activity or an experience that should be easy to navigate. So I'm really looking forward to it. All right. Well, as I said, this is going to be a short meeting today. I wanted to touch base with folks, let them know what's happening right now. It's kind of the calm before the storm. I know many of you, your semesters haven't even started, and some of you, your semester just started yesterday. So it's going to be an exciting semester and an exciting year, hopefully. Were there any just general questions about the consortium or Digitex? Natalie?
Hey, yeah, Ursula.
Yes.
Yeah, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. Quick question for yourself and Heather. I apologize if this was already addressed before I hopped on, but the remaining billing of that 125, when can we expect that, the institutions in the consortium?
Oh, that is a good question. And I wish I could give you a specific deadline. So I know Heather explained to me, and I'm not sure, Heather explained to me that it has to do with when they open up their books for next fiscal year. So I'm going to find out, and I will communicate with folks as soon as I find out, because that's something that I would like to know as well. So I don't have an answer for you today, but I will get on that. Thank you for asking.
I appreciate you both. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I'm going to let you go on with your day. Thank you. I hope you have a good week and a good, oh, Beatrice, I see. Do you have a question?
No, I was just going to say thank you for everything that, all the services that Digitex provides to our institution. We really appreciate all the work you all do. And I just wanted to say thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, thank you, Beatrice.
All right. Well, thank you and have a great day. And don't hesitate to follow up with any questions that you have. Thanks.
Everybody, take care.